welcome back to Squaretember. In this episode, sorry if I made a mistake in the last episode, but I actually had a bit of a change of plans. I actually decided to do the Kingdom Hearts sequels. Leading up to Kingdom Hearts 2, that is, before they made a whole bunch of other re-releases before finally announcing Kingdom Hearts 3. We'll actually discuss Chain of Memories and Kingdom Hearts 2. We then hear more information about the future of Kingdom Hearts. In fact, 2 sequels were in the work. One, Kingdom Hearts 2, and other 1.5, Chain of Memories for the Game Boy Advance, which, for Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, picks up exactly where Kingdom Hearts 1 left off. And since it's a Game Boy Advance game, the graphics and the music almost look like the game was the original Kingdom Hearts game made 10 years earlier on the MS-DOS. In this game, Sora's memories are being manipulated by the events of the first game, as well as everyone else's memories that I've met in the last game. And this later brings down to the most broken magic system since the drawing, magic, and junctioning in Final Fantasy VIII, and that's the card system. For each one of your moves, including your magic and whatnot, involves you playing cards. And in order for those cards to respawn, you have to actually wait. That is fucking bullshit. And this is all the substitute for the MP gal. At least in Final Fantasy VIII you could continue to stock up on magic spells by simply drawing from enemies over and over again, as tedious as that shit was. Here, the cards that you play and wait! This can even get you killed. Like, for those of you who like the card system, sorry, I just found no benefit in it at all. Which is probably why I gave up on this game halfway through. Yeah, and the remake Chain of Memories doesn't really change that either. Sora's memories being manipulated and everyone else's memories being lost. He has to revisit those worlds from Kingdom Hearts 1 again to regain them, and they're all connected to Castle Oblivion. It is actually inhabited by a girl named Naminé. In fact, she is the one responsible for everyone's memories being erased, as well as Sora's. She even does it to the point where she even starts to appear in Sora's flashbacks. We later find out that Naminé is actually what's called a nobody. People who have been created from other people's hearts after they've been swallowed by darkness. In her case, she was made from Kairi. And since Kairi is what's called a princess of heart and thus cannot be turned into a heartless after losing it, a special nobody that has special abilities like Naminé is created. Thus, this gives her the abilities above all the other nobodies called Organization 13, which you'll see plenty of in Kingdom Hearts 2. And then, after Naminé admits that she's responsible for Sora's memories being tampered with, as well as everyone else's, she restores them back by putting Sora in a deep slumber in those little seed pod thingies, in order to put his memories back the way they happened. However, if you don't like the gameplay of Chain of Memories like I did, you could really just follow up on the manga, which I happen to own. It really explains the game a lot more if you're not willing to suffer through it because of those stupid cards! Following the release of the success of the original Kingdom Hearts, people were really looking into the sequel, while they were killing some time while waiting for Kingdom Hearts 2 to come. And lo and behold, nearly 4 years of waiting after several delays, it finally came. The answer to all our questions we had. And boy, was it better than the first one. Even though it didn't sell as good though, but still a good achievement. So we pick up after a year from where we left off in Chain of Memories, following the worst introductions I've ever seen in a video game. It involves characters we've never seen before. Yeah, I know Roxas is important to the storyline, but why should we give a fuck about these other 3 characters? It didn't even need to take up 30 minutes of game time to actually, get past. This includes the regaining control of Sora, and this does not begin until after he's given brand new clothes from the 3 fairies of Sleeping Beauty. And it's this form where we introduce our limit breaks for the game, called the drive forms. These drive forms are achieved by collecting enough power-ups in battle, also known as drive spheres. If you get enough of them, you can switch into any of the 5 forms, and each has their own special attacks, including Valor form in red, Wisdom form in blue, Master form in yellow, and Final form in white, as well as Shadow form that'll come on occasion. Using these drive forms can actually unlock different abilities you can equip. So the main story behind this, well, you actually are finding up against a group called Organization 13. And this is actually where the game really starts twisting and convulsing the plot to where it's just downright confusing. And first off, there's actually the introduction of Xehanort, which I will discuss in future episodes. He has apparently taken on multiple forms, which in the last game he was really the main antagonist that everyone called Ansem. It turns out he was a phony. In this game he appears as the leader of Organization 13, Xemnas. And Sora is still trying to look for Riku and Kairi, because if you recall in the last episode, they were all separated again. And Kairi's really just looking for Sora because she's back at home attending school again, which begs the question: how come no one in their home world of Destiny Islands even realized those 2, Sora and Riku, were even missing? There's gotta be missing posters posted throughout town, kind of like an Amber Alert or something. And Kairi actually finds the most logical way to do this is to send a message in a bottle. Find him across another world, which I have no idea how the hell that's supposed to work. And it's not until one day that she gets kidnapped again by an Organization 13 member named Axel. This was obviously done as a way to drive Sora all the way to their lair in the world that never was. It is at this point where she breaks from her cell that she finds Riku disguised as a member of Organization 13. And finally, after her being nothing more than just a damsel in distress for a pretty long time, she finally kicks some ass with a Keyblade. And in fact, Riku has a Keyblade too. They all 3 do. Which I will not be discussing in this episode because, again, because there's a spoiler in future games. On top of that, the music, I'll have to say, is top notch, especially compared to the last entry. However, gameplay-wise, it's virtually the same as Kingdom Hearts 1. Finally, we're able to get back on into 3D graphics and platforming. And best of all, there is no card system, and there's also reaction commands where you get to do a special move while battling monsters at the press of a triangle button on prompt. However, even though Trinities were removed from the game, it's still a big improvement. I'm not a huge fan of the reaction commands, but however, in a lot of cases, they make a lot of the battles a lot easier, especially with bosses. But however, there's a couple major flaws I just can't overlook. Aside from the Winnie the Pooh storybook side quest, which I fucking hate. Yes, I hate Winnie the Pooh. In fact, I hated it as a kid. It just makes me feel uncomfortable. It does, okay? That world can actually, of course, be cut from Kingdom Hearts 3. And, of course, the most notorious would be the Atlantica minigame. An exact reenactment from scenes from the movie. I mean, why does this have to be included as a rhythm game pressing various button prompts? And this is actually, and if you're actually doing certain side quests, this is like fighting Sephiroth, this is actually mandatory to actually get certain weapon upgrades. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, please do not include the Kingdom Hearts 3, but aside from Atlantica and the Winnie the Pooh mini-games, I would still say it's still worth to check out every once in a while. Especially since you can probably now get an HD port of it on your PS4, which will soon be released in a downloadable format along with Kingdom Hearts 1.5 sometime in the future. I'd say, why don't you go check it out sometime? And I've already said that. Join me next time, and in this year's final Squaretember episode, where we will cover the compilation of Final Fantasy VII. Don't miss out!